We need the state of Virginia. We need the state of Maryland. We need our friends in New York and Illinois and Colorado. We need to see other states with their remarkable leaders that have been doing remarkable things meet this moment head on as well, to recognize what we're up against in 2026. And let me make this crystal clear. We can de facto end Donald Trump's presidency as we know it the minute Speaker Jeffries gets sworn in as Speaker of the House of Representatives. It is all on the line, a bright line in 2026.
Look at Gavin Newsom here. He's explicitly admitting they want to redraw the map specifically to de facto end the Trump presidency before 2026. This isn't about voters. It's about a political coup through gerrymandering. Stay tuned to see how this just blew up in their faces.
Bone to pick. And I was just in D.C. yesterday outside of John Thune's office, Senator John Thune. Listen, we just gave Republicans everything on a golden platter.
Yes.
We gave them the House. We gave them the Senate. We gave them the White House. We won everything for the Republican Party. Okay, I love that we are securing the border. Mm-hmm. I love that illegal immigration is at its lowest point in modern history. I love that we are deporting criminal illegal aliens. I love that President Trump is trying to get peace in the Middle East and trying to stop the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, and he's bringing down gas prices, etc. I think Americans want more deportations, so I'm glad that Kristi Noem is going to be hiring more ICE agents, and they're ramping that up. I think that's one thing the American people want more of. They want more of economic relief, which I think President Trump is working on via, I think deportation is important. But where's the SAVE Act? Where is election security? Where is election integrity? And quite frankly, this is their opportunity. Are they going to blow it like we did with Paul Ryan in 2016, where I'll remind the viewer, we had the House, we had the White House, and we had the Senate. And what happened in 2018? Democrats won. AOC was elected. Rashida Tlaib was elected. Ilhan Omar was elected. The Squad was elected.
Wait, did you catch the fire in Scott Presler's eyes right there? He is literally standing outside John Thune's office in D.C. giving him a choice: lead or become the next Paul Ryan. It's wild because Thune is the new Republican leader in the Senate, and Presler is reminding him that the base just handed the GOP the House, the Senate, and the White House on a silver platter. They aren't in the mood for excuses anymore. Look at how he emphasizes that illegal immigration is at its lowest point, yet leadership is still dragging their feet on the Save America Act. This is the ultimate expert friend moment, pointing out that the grassroots are at a peak boiling level. If leadership ignores election integrity now, they risk a repeat of 2018, where the Squad was born because voters felt abandoned. Presler is essentially acting as the voice of millions who are done with Republicans in name only, who refuse to fight for voter ID. It's a high-stakes warning that the clock is ticking on Thune's leadership.
And of course, we're not talking about the other aspects of the SAVE Act that go well beyond ID, and it goes to which is also part of Jim Crow, the history, and that is when it comes to registration, you got to find your birth certificate. If you know where yours is, I have no clue where mine is. Or you have to passport, and 2/3 African Americans don't even have passports.
Passport, I was blocking on just then. But not only that, how many people go out, get married,
yes,
and then square their married name with their birth certificate?
And that would be thrown out under that law.
Under that law.
Yeah. So that's what just passed the House of Representatives now needs to get the 60 in the Senate. So I like what Schumer said, dead on.
Look at the narrative Newsom is trying to spin here. He's calling the Save America Act Jim Crow 2.0 because it requires a birth certificate or a passport to register to vote. But think about it. How many of you have had to show that exact same ID just to fly domestically or start a new job? He's using this weird argument about married names not matching birth certificates to make a basic security measure sound impossible. It's a classic gaslighting tactic. He even admits he doesn't know where his own birth certificate is. If the governor of California can't find his records, is that a failure of the law or just personal organization? Notice how he's specifically targeting African Americans by saying 2/3 don't have passports. He's leaning hard into identity politics to block a bill that 83% of the country actually wants. It's a desperate attempt to frame common sense
we need the state of Maryland
as a human rights violation.
We need our friends in New York and Illinois and Colorado. We need to see other states, the remarkable leaders that have been doing remarkable things, meet this moment head on as well, to recognize what we're up against in 20.
This is where the mask really slips. Newsom isn't just talking about California. He's calling for a coordinated effort between Virginia, Maryland, New York, and Illinois to meet this moment. What he's really saying is that they need to bypass the 10-year redistricting rule and redraw the maps mid-decade just to stop the America First agenda. He even mentions Hakeem Jeffries becoming Speaker as the de facto end of the current administration. It's a bold admission that the goal isn't fair representation, it's about structural manipulation. Look at his posture. He's trying to convince other blue state governors to take this unprecedented step. Usually, redistricting only happens after the census, but they are trying to rewrite the rules on the fly. It shows how much the establishment fears the 2026 midterms. They know the polling is shifting, so their only play is to literally erase Republican districts from the map before the first vote is even cast. This is the definition of a political power grab disguised as leadership.
Fox 5 News alert. This just into the newsroom. A Virginia state court has blocked Democrats' push to redraw congressional maps in the Commonwealth ahead of the midterms. A judge in Tazewell County ruled today the party failed to follow proper procedures to approve a proposed constitutional amendment allowing mid-decade redistricting. Democrats plan to appeal, but if the ruling stands, it could prevent them from picking up as many as 4 seats next year.
Check out this Fox 5 alert. The Virginia courts just threw a massive wrench in that plan. A judge in Tazewell County basically told the Democrats that they can't just ignore constitutional procedures to redraw maps whenever they feel like it. This is a huge legal blow to Governor Abigail Spanberger, who tried to push through a map that would have erased 4 Republican seats. It's the perfect example of what goes around comes around. They tried to govern like radicals in a purple state and got checked by the judiciary. If this ruling holds, it completely stalls the momentum Newsom was trying to build nationally. It turns out you actually have to follow the rules of the Commonwealth, even if your goal is to end a presidency. This court block preserves the current 6-5 split, which is a lot fairer than the 10-1 map they were trying to force on Virginians. It's a win for the rule of law and a massive setback for the redistricting plot. The maps are failing and the pressure is on. Catch you in the next deep dive.